We need a president of the United States that has a zeal for reform for education as well, and John McCain does. He believes in school choice. He believes in pay for performance. He would be a president that would support reformers across the country that would advocate changing our education system before it's too late. When you go to Singapore, as I've done in my post-gubernatorial life, or go to India, or go to China, or go to Sweden, where they have a totally voucherized program, a socialist country that allows total school choice, what you see is a focus on the things that are relevant. In Sweden, the school I went to, which was comprised of 60% immigrants from Somalia and Iraq, they're trilingual. Their ability the math courses and science courses they take are far above what a traditional kid would be taking here in Indiana or Florida. We need to make dramatic changes, and Barack Obama is a captive of the special interests, sadly, in education. John McCain is not. It is important to have someone in Washington that understands how important this is. The second area of reform that we desperately need is in energy. And again, if you look at the pronouncements of the last few weeks of Senator Obama, what you see is someone who is unable to offend a core constituency. The good thing about John McCain, we may not agree exactly on everything that he believes, but I like the fact that he does have this unique ability to upset core constituencies on a regular basis. I think that's actually a pretty good thing in America in 2008, and we need to have that kind of disruptive thinking in order to create an energy strategy that provides more security so that we can continue to grow. And the sucking sound of $400 billion of net worth annually going to $500 billion annually leaving our country because we can't figure out how to exploit the abundant resources of coal, of natural gas, and of oil in our own country is a disgrace. And John McCain understands that. And I hope he sticks it to him. Politics is a contact sport. You don't have to degrade the candidate in terms of their personality or their character, but you can certainly point out where there's a difference of opinion. That's fair game. There won't be any 15-yard penalties and loss of down if Senator McCain points out that Barack Obama has no interesting idea in the most pressing current problem we face. In fact, his only idea is a windfall profits tax on oil companies. That's how we're going to solve our energy problem, according to Senator Obama. Jimmy Carter was the last guy to come up with that brilliant idea, and it was a complete disaster. America cannot retreat from the world, and it is for this reason alone that Senator McCain is definitely the right person at the right time to lead our country. He understands how the world is, not how we would wish it to be. Senator Obama has a very naive view on foreign policy, and we're living in precarious times, and I believe, and I know that you agree, that we need a leader who is firm and has resolve and understands the importance of the American presence in the rest of the world. And by the way, as a footnote, I love my brother, and I admire him greatly for his dogged determination to keep us protected, to keep us secure, and to make sure the United States does not retreat in an ever-danger world. And when you hear candidates running for president saying that they're going to open up trade agreements, that should give you cause for alarm. The idea of unraveling the trading agreements that exist in our country is so naive, and if it's not naive, it is so dangerous for the ability of the United States to remain competitive and for markets to stay open. What signal does it send to the largest trading partner we have, Canada? What signal does it send to Mexico, our second largest trading partner, when a candidate who could become President of the United States suggests that they're going to reopen the trading agreement? You know what the answer is? They said, well, I've got a few things that we could renegotiate as well if we're going to reopen trading agreements. The United States will not be successful if we move to a protectionist, isolationist point of view. And Senator Obama, perhaps it's naivete. I'm hopeful that it's naivete and not core beliefs that puts him in this position. But it couldn't be clearer who is the right president in terms of national security and our own economic interests for 2008. And I hope that you will work hard for Senator McCain's election. And then finally, it is important to connect all of this together in a way that goes beyond politics. One of the tragedies of life today, and I know that Governor Daniels has worked hard in reforming the social service delivery system here in Indiana and has worked hard as it relates to the abandonment, neglect, and abuse of children. In Florida, Mitch, there are 50,000 children that are wards of the state. 50,000 children that for whatever reason, typically because of drug and alcohol addictions, have been abandoned or have been neglected or have been abused in some fashion by their moms or dads. In Florida, as is the case across the country, 35% of the children that are brought into the world today will be brought in the world without a dad in the home. And that's been going on for now close to 2 generations. We cannot believe and advocate limited government and expect that the demands on government won't grow unless we go back to the foundational principles of our country. The founders never envisioned a country that had unlimited freedom without the responsibility attached to that a self-governing people would bring. It is important for us to find ways to communicate in a way that draws people towards these basic principles that are important. One of the guys that does that so well here in Indianapolis is a hero of mine, Tony Dungy. We need more Tony Dungies in this world. We need to find ways to support struggling families so that they make taking care of their children their first, second, third, and fourth priorities of their life. We need to provide community support through community organizations and faith-based organizations, and where appropriate for government to play a role to help them as well. If we do that, then the demands on government naturally subside. And in doing so, more and more people will naturally be conservatives because they won't see the need to be solved through an ever-expanding government. That's my belief. My belief is that if we make a passionate defense of limited government, if we reform the things that are so critical for our long-term viability as a nation, if we remain present in an ever-dangerous world, using the influence and the respect of the United States in ways that protect our interest and protect our security, and if we never lose sight of the foundational principles of self-government, Republicans will win every step along the way, but more importantly, our country will continue to be the greatest, freest country in the world. Your efforts are important. And so I'll urge you to conclude, if you haven't written a check to Mitch, do it. I don't know what the limits are, but go to the limit if you can. And then get a friend and neighbor to volunteer to help him in his campaign. You are really on the front lines of validating conservative, common sense principles that truly matter for our country, and I hope you work as hard as you can in the next 4 months to elect this great